Welcome back. You're watching NewsX with me, Malvika. Gold prices in Delhi have seen a slight downward shift today as 24-carat gold stands at rupees 12,342 for 1 gram. Gold as an investment has been seeing some momentum since the start of the year. Interest in the yellow metal as an investment option is growing constantly. The price of gold has shown volatility in the last few days. The value of 18, 22 and 24 carat gold has decreased from yesterday's price on 1 gram of gold. With this, let's in fact take a look at gold prices today and let's compare it with prices from yesterday, last week, last month and last year. We've of course been keeping a very close track on gold prices. Now, if you compare gold prices per gram from today to yesterday, you see that 24 carat gold today costs 12,342 rupees as opposed to 12,576 yesterday. So, of course, this slight downward shift that we are witnessing, even 22 carat gold is down to 11,314 from 11,529. Similarly, 18 carat gold has now decreased to 9,260 from 9,436. So, this downward shift that we are noticing from yesterday's prices. Now, if you compare it to last week, gold today is of course 12,342 as opposed to 13,058 on 21st October 2025. That is exactly 1 week ago. Similarly, 22 carat gold is 11,314 as opposed to 11,970. 18 carat gold as well, 9,260 today as we saw, as opposed to 9,719 at the same time last week. Now, if you compare it to prices last month, gold today on 28th October costs 12,342 as opposed to 11,444 on 28th September, that is 1 month ago. So, while there is a downward shift over the past week, if you compare it to prices last month, there has been a rise. 22 carat gold today costs 11,314 as opposed to just 10,490 same time last month. 18 carat gold as well, 9,260 which is up from 8,583 last month, that is 28th of September. So, we see this rise now today versus last year. If you compare the prices, you see that gold today costs 12,342 for 24 carat of gold per gram as opposed to just 7,980 on the same date last year. You see that rise when you compare it to prices last year. 22 carat gold costs 11,314 as opposed to 7,315 on the same date last year. Similarly, 18 carat gold 9,260 as opposed to just 5,985 on the same date last year. So, we of course been seeing this volatility, this sort of rise and fall in gold prices over the past few months, especially if you look at the prices this year. I am now being joined by Dr. Sharat Kohli, senior economist, as we continue to track gold prices very, very closely. So, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, we are taking a look at gold prices once again, and we see a slight downward shift once again in the prices. What do you think are the key factors that are driving this sort of volatility that we're noticing? Is of course geopolitics is playing a very, very major role in this.
Good morning, Malvika, and good morning to the viewers of NewsX. I must first of all put on record my appreciation for NewsX as a channel to do this micro analysis for people every day. This is not just useful for investors and traders, it's very useful for people who want to go and buy gold and they want to compare the prices if they missed out something. Now, the recent volatility and a bit of a downturn which you're seeing is I consider this very healthy, because any asset class which is so volatile should not be going up and up at all times. It becomes very risky, and then the crash is equally more damaging. So what you're witnessing now is because of the expected meeting tomorrow, or rather on Thursday, between President Trump and President Xi Jinping. Well, the recent surge in the gold prices, Malvika, was because of the reason that there was a full-on trade war between US and China, two of the largest economies around the world. And now with some kind of truce in sight for that trade war, there's a framework which has been laid down by their trade representatives that China may eventually lift the restrictions on export of rare minerals to US and postpone it by 1 year. That is, the restrictions will be postponed by 1 year. And in return, US is going to sort of drop out the 100% tariffs which it was planning to levy on China. So in view of that and expecting that this would happen during Thursday's meeting, that this will be finalized, I think the prices have cooled down because this was the very reason why the recent surge was there. However, other factors very much remain there. The geopolitical situation, as you mentioned, is very much there. Russia-Ukraine war has become more intense. There has been cross-drone attacks from both the countries on each other. Other factors like tariffs of President Trump across the world still remain very much. Central bank buying continues. I think it's a good opportunity, Malvika, for the investors who were looking for an opportunity to step in, because some of the people were thinking that we missed the bus and we don't want to invest at such high levels. I think it's a good opportunity now with coming down to 110, 115,000 in between. I'm talking of the 24-karat gold. I think it's a good opportunity for, as I said, I've been saying on your channel that for investors it is advisable to buy on corrections in smaller amounts. So I think this is a healthy correction. It's consolidation. Another reason is that on COMEX in New York, there's a monthly expiry of speculative contracts. So when that speculative contracts expire, there's a lot of profit booking people who made money. They want to book profits. So this is also on account of that, some selling pressure. Plus, there is also a lobby in America which is working to bring down the gold prices because they see it as a threat to US dollar, which obviously the US lobbyists do not want the US dollar to lose its supremacy. So they're trying to pressurize and let the prices fall down temporarily. US Fed is expected to cut the rates in tomorrow's Fed decision, which again might bring a bit of a upsurge in the prices. But overall volatility is going to remain, Malvika.
Well, sir, we've also been seeing that the US dollar is going down as against the euro as well as the yuan. So, do you think what sort of an impact does that also have on this? And will we see some sort of effect on gold prices? What sort of implications does that have for gold prices as well?
Exactly. If US dollar becomes weaker against euro, against yen, against Swiss francs, against British pounds, the four principal currencies after US dollar, obviously that has an impact on positive as far as the gold prices are concerned. Because as I said, if the dollar supremacy around the world fails, well, most of the trade around the world is done in US dollars. Most of the international borrowings are done in US dollars. Most of the forex trading is done in US dollars. So if US dollar loses its supremacy, then gold is the next biggest value measure for the world. This is exactly what happened when the lobbyists in the US, they found that their dollar is losing their relevance because of surge in gold. They started creating selling pressure on the gold. So that is also one of the factors why you've seen now almost a 10% correction from 4,381. Last night, we saw the gold going down to $3,950 US dollars. So it touched as low. So it's almost a 10% correction, which is a very sharp correction, I would say. But then various factors are working in both the directions. I think we'll have to wait and see. The volatility is going to remain for today and tomorrow and day after till the meeting of Xi Jinping and President Trump concludes. If that meeting is very positive, we might see some more correction. But long-term trend, Malvika, for gold is still very much bullish. And I think people who are looking for long-term investment, they should keep 20% of their portfolio in gold. And they can expect some good returns in the next 2 to 3 years.